Have you ever walked into a sacred space, the temple, a monastery, a spiritual gathering, and felt the subtle urge to carry your worldly identity with you? Have you ever thought, consciously or not, I've achieved so much out there, surely I should be seen in here too? And have you ever wondered why, in places of truth, the most powerful people seem to grow silent, almost invisible? Welcome back to the channel. I'm your companion in peeling back the layers of what success really means, and today we're going to sit with a paradox that many never see until it's too late. To truly rise in spiritual clarity, you must be willing to bow, not to people, not to hierarchy, but to truth itself. In this episode, we'll explore the idea that no matter how successful you are in the outside world, career, money, recognition, it means nothing if you bring the same pride and ego into sacred spaces. We'll talk about the quiet practice of respecting the rope, not worshiping individuals, but honoring the institution of spiritual integrity that the monastic life represents. We'll talk about why the moment you believe your worldly status entitles you to special treatment in places of truth, you've already started to lose your compass. We'll begin with a man named Len. He's a wealthy business owner, has donated millions to charitable causes, built schools, sponsored medical clinics, funded temple restorations. One afternoon, he visits a secluded monastery in the mountains, his SUV gliding up the gravel path like royalty arriving for an audience. Before his car stops, he calls the monastery kitchen, prepares some tea. "I want to speak privately with the abbot." His voice isn't angry, but it carries weight, the weight of a man used to getting what he wants. What he doesn't know is that the abbot is in silent retreat. The monastic coordinator, younger monk, bows and explains that the abbot isn't seeing visitors today but invites Mr. Lin to join the community for the midday meal. "You're welcome to sit with us," he says gently. Mr. Lin stiffens. In his mind, he's not just any visitor, he's a benefactor. He made a large donation last year. Why should he be made to wait? Why should he sit in the communal hall like a stranger? Then his eyes fall on a hanging scroll. 5 words: "Respect the Sangha like Buddha." Shakes him. Because in that moment, he remembers the very first time he ever entered a temple, 20 years earlier. Nervous, humble, curious. Back then, he wouldn't have dared raise his voice in a sacred space. Back then, he would have felt honored just to sweep the floors of the meditation hall. He lowers his head. He follows the monk. He sits among the others, not in the VIP seat, just a man among men. No titles, no business cards. Something happens in that meal. His breath slows, his jaw softens. He chews with intention. He doesn't speak, listens, and for the first time in years, he feels small, and not in a bad way, the free way. That's what spiritual life does when it's free. It untangles you from your own legend. Let's be honest, the world rewards noise, the world worships loudness, the world says be bigger, faster, richer, but the Dharma says be still, be humble, be clear. Nowhere is that more evident than in how we treat monks and nuns, not as celebrities, not as moral superiors, but as guardians of a path we desperately need. The great teacher Master Zhu Yan, who lived through dynastic collapses and wars, once said, "No matter how much you own, how many people you command, when you step into the temple, leave your crown at the door. You are not here to lead, you are here to bow." This is not self-degradation. This is spiritual physics. Because truth can only pour into an empty cup. If you enter sacred practice with ego, with agenda, with expectation, you are already blocking the very transformation you seek. I once witnessed a small, poignant event at a monastery lunch. Wealthy donor had sponsored a meal. Afterward, the photographer said, "Let's take a picture." A supporter in the center, monks on either side. The monks quietly stood still. One of them gently moved the donor to the side, placing the eldest monastic in the center. No one spoke, but the message rang clear. This is not about power. This is about lineage. This is about who carries the robe, not who carries the check. To his credit, the donor got it. He smiled and later said, "I'll hang this photo in my office, not to show who I support, but to remind myself who I follow." This is the quiet glory of humility. But let's go deeper. Any lay people confuse respecting monks with worshipping individuals. That's not what we're talking about. True respect is not blind. It's not cultish. It's not passive. It's informed, intentional, and anchored in clarity. Respecting the Sangha means respecting the commitment to the vow to hold precepts, to live simply, to serve truth above self. And yes, sometimes individuals fail. Sometimes robes are worn without integrity. But that doesn't mean we throw away the tradition. It means we learn to distinguish the robe from the behavior. Someone in robes acts out of alignment. We hold them accountable. We call them back to the path, but we never mock the institution. We never use one person's failure to justify our own disrespect. Master Zhu Yan said it best, to protect the Sangha is to protect your own access to truth. So how do we, as lay people, walk this line? Here are 3 practices that create real integrity between lay practitioners and the monastic world. Honor without idolizing. Offer food, service, and donations with a pure heart, not for blessings, not for recognition, but because you value what's being preserved. Speak with restraint. Don't gossip about monastics. Don't speculate. If you see wrongdoing, report it. But don't turn it into entertainment. For without entanglement, never attach strings to your generosity. Don't say, "I'll donate, but only if you hang my name," or "I'll support this temple if you use my contractor." The moment you do, you've turned a sacred act into a transaction. True generosity is letting go, giving without needing control, sowing seeds without demanding where the tree should grow. Now let's talk about power. Many people ask, if I have resources, if I have influence, shouldn't I use them to help the Dharma thrive? Of course. But use them with clarity, not from above, but from beside. Don't try to steer the ship for wine to the sail. Don't try to rewrite ancient traditions in your image. Let them refine you. If you're truly strong in the world, use that strength to protect, not dominate. Use it to uplift, not manipulate. Use it to preserve and not control. Because at the end of the day, the Dharma doesn't need kings. It needs gardeners. People who understand that truth isn't a product, a performance, or a platform. It's a fire, and if you get too close with the wrong heart, it will burn away your masks. So be ready to be burned. But let it be a burning that frees you. Let it be the burning of your pride. Let it be the burning of your entitlement. Let it be the burning of all the things you thought made you important, but actually made you heavy. And in that space of ash and humility, let a new kind of power rise. The power of someone who walks quietly, who gives purely, who bows not to men, but to wisdom, who enters a temple and no longer thinks, do they know who I am? But instead says, yeah, I remember who I really am. That's the man or woman who becomes a true protector of the Dharma. Not because they sit on the board, but because they stand behind the truth, silent lie, steadily, sincerely. If you've ever wrestled with pride in sacred spaces, I invite you to sit with that today. Ask yourself, have I entered temples expecting recognition? Have I given with conditions? Have I confused status with spiritual maturity? And if so, forgive yourself. Then go sweep the floor, quietly. Go offer incense, silent lie. Go find a monk and ask, what do you need today? That's how you rebuild the bridge. That's how you turn worldly success into sacred service. And if this message resonated with you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it, reflect in the comments, subscribe to this channel so we can keep nurturing humility in high places. Success isn't what the world says it is. Success is knowing when to kneel.
Before you leave, here's something special. In Buddhism, we believe that every encounter carries a deeper meaning. Would you like to discover your true soul connection, the one written into your destiny? Take the Soulmate Test today and unveil the hidden truths of your journey. Click the link below and begin your path now.
http://soulmate. You wisdom more, come, white.